Hi and welcome to another gaming video, and today's video it's my latest purchase. So here we have it's just arrived in the post. This is a Nintendo Game Boy in a rather grubby looking, well, that's supposed to be grey, but it's looking quite yellow, and it came with a copy of Tetris, so that's quite nice. Listed as not working, or it says no power, but the listing did say something like no power adapter, so I'm not sure whether it doesn't work or whether it's just well, they haven't really tried it, but as you can see it really is in a bit of a grim condition. It sounds quite rattly in there, not entirely sure what is going on. So you've got to see, this is your Tetris. So let's just give it a try. This is either going to be a clean-up and a restoration project, yet another one, or it might just be a clean up and sit it on a shelf kind of job. So pop some fresh batteries in just to see if anything does happen. And it doesn't. Oh, it does. Wow. So it's got no back for it, but I've ordered one of those. So let's pop a game in and see what happens. So it really is a grim looking colour. That is supposed to be a nice grey colour, but it's very yellowed over time. It looks as if the screen lens is, there we go, it's slightly lifted. It's not a huge problem. Oh, there we go, so I probably shouldn't have taken that off. That could be glued back down. I think the whole thing is just a little grim and grubby, but it's nice to see that non-working doesn't mean it doesn't work, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no issues with the screen. No issues with the sound. So it looks as if the buttons all work. Let's give that a quick test. Yeah, they all seem fairly responsive. So it really just, I don't know, when some people list things, they're not entirely sure what is up with it. But it did say no power adapter included, so no power. So they obviously hadn't tested any batteries in it, or if they had, perhaps there is a little bit of corrosion. Now the only thing I will say is that the D-pad slightly has a bit of a harder press to the left, but that's more grime, I would say. This is a 30-year-old console. So the screen brightness thing works. Does seem to be, I don't know if that's supposed to or if you can see that, but there's a little notch out of that there. But the contrast wheel works fine. So does the sound wheel. So I'm really happy with that. I did wonder whether it was just going to be a glorified shelf showpiece, but no, it works. Ooh, screen fell off. There is some issue there with the batteries. Perhaps it just needs a bit of a clean up, or the contacts aren't quite where they should be. As now it won't come on again. That's a shame. That was going well then. So they do, there's a little bit of corrosion going on some of these contacts, so I will clean that off with a bit of IPA, but as you can see it works. Need to stick this back on. but I'm more than happy with that. I didn't pay a lot for it, I think because of the colour and the condition wise it's actually pretty decent, apart from obviously the very grimy colour. So the battery contacts will need a bit of a clean. The faceplate will need putting back on. It's a little scratched. I don't think I intend on replacing it, because I quite like using the original. So I'll just probably use some IPA to clean this glue off here and pop it back on. Keep the whole thing original. You can see in the speaker grill it's really grubby, so this is going to need to be opened up and given a good clean, but that is about it. There's definitely some loose contact on the batteries somewhere, but overall I am very happy with it. So this is my latest purchase. I have no need for one. I have a few Game Boy cartridges, but I could play them in my Game Boy Advance SP. I really want this purely for nostalgia purposes because, well, it's the first console I ever bought. Obviously not this one, but the Game Boy is the first console, and it really got me into gaming and handheld gaming. So there you go. This is a Nintendo Game Boy, original DMG, a bit grimy looking, but so far fully working. Just needs a bit of a clean up and screen lens putting back on. So I will do a strip down and clean up video at some point, but there you go. Latest purchase. Bought it as no power. Had an inkling it was just maybe that they hadn't tried any batteries, and I was right. So just got to wait for the battery back to arrive, which should be here in the next day or so, and really pleased with that. Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.